Let's go! Well, I've seen this before. Hello, and we are about to find out what everything's going to be. I reckon it's going to be either we go through a portal, or monsters come through a portal, and then we take care of them, collect something, and either craft something or get something crafted for us.
Welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile Settlers of Kalguur, which launches next week on July 26th. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Corsair back attachment. In today's stream, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Settlers of Kalguur Challenge League. We'll cover the league mechanics, its new and revised crafting systems, a new trade market system for currency, some sweeping balance improvements including 2 Ascendancy class changes, endgame improvements, some further additions to the campaign, and some quality of life features. We'll then talk about our console native port releases and the features that come alongside them. Finally, we'll show you our new supporter packs, ending with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile's game director Mark your questions from Twitch chat. After the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes. I'll hand over to Mark now to introduce the new league.
We're really innovative with the content in this league, and I'm really excited to see what everyone thinks. So let's just get right into it with the trailer for Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalguur.
Let's go! Well, I've seen this before.
Rayclast is a cursed land. You'd have to be mad to settle here.
That's in the first little bit.
And yet, welcome to King's March. It's not much yet, but with your help, we can erect the greatest city Rayclast has ever seen. We'll need resources and savvy planning. Soon we'll attract settlers, craftsmen, fortune seekers, and of course, pirates. But if we prevail, our ships will be heavy with gold. We hope to achieve the impossible. We hope to build a home.
They're introducing the gold that's going to be in Path of Exile too. Yeah, that's in T16, 17s. Wait, that was Sentinel. That's a little bzz, bzz. That was from Sentinel League, wasn't it?
In Path of Exile Settlers of Kalguur, you will encounter some familiar faces from the Expedition League. Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin are Kalguuran people who are trying to establish trade between Rayclast and their homeland. They have recruited many curious characters from Rayclast, including some you may recognize, but are also seeking help of a powerful exile, like yourself.
Okay.
You will first encounter Johan, the King's Hand and Lionized Watch. He's there recruiting workers, traders, and exiles. Johan, under the command of the King of Kalguur, has been sent here to build a new city
New portal
called
animation.
King's March, which intends to become the hub of commerce between Rayclast and Kalguur. Soon, he will bring you to the planned site for King's March, which you'll notice has humble beginnings as just a tavern in a field. But with your help, it won't stay like this for long. It takes a lot to build a town. The Kalguurans will ask you to seek out resources that can be used to begin construction. On your adventures, you might find minerals such as crimson iron, which are veins of iron that have been overrun with corruption, spawning dangerous foes when you approach. Or perhaps orichalcum, which you will have to liberate from the demons worshipping it. Petrified amber attracts mindless, blighted enemies, while bismuth has a strong affinity to the elements and causes the area to become unstable. If you're lucky, you might find vericium, a material as valuable as it is dangerous, and guarded by very powerful foes.
Verician.
Once you defeat
Okay.
these monsters,
That's S
the
tier.
deposit will automatically be tagged for mining. But first, we need to get someone to do the hard labor. This is of course a trade expedition and nothing is free. Miners, along with other workers that the Kalguurans have hired, must be paid in cold hard gold,
What are they using?
which you'll
Put it in the
notice
bottom.
is now dropping throughout Rayclast. You will have control about who gets hired into your enterprise.
I wouldn't mind copying this build.
Once you have accumulated some gold, head to the town and talk to the recruiter, Ralph. He's been busy tracking down hardy folk across Rayclast who are looking for work. You'll notice each person has their specialties and a wage cost. It'll be up to you to hire and fire as you please. Over the course of the League, you'll be searching for your perfect employees for each job. Once you have them, you'll have to keep them paid, safe, and alive.
Keep
which
them
we'll get into
paid.
later. Here we have a prospect who has a specialty in mining. We'll start with that so we can begin to retrieve some of those resources we were talking about earlier. Let's go find some more and put our miner to use. Oh, we've found a vein of orichalcum ore.
Oh, dearie me, we have.
Demons worshipping a strange shrine. The shrine buffs the demons, giving them power, but once you defeat them, you can seize that power for yourself. After that, we can tag the ore, and our mining specialist will get to work. Soon, we encounter a few more deposits, each with a different dangerous encounter.
You get gold back for it.
After you have tagged the mineral veins, your miners will get to work collecting resources in real time. They might take a while, but will continue whether you are logged in or not.
That's
The
good.
work can be sped up by hiring more or better miners, and by upgrading the mining station back in Kingsmarch to equip them with advanced pickaxes. Alright.
This is gonna be the most
most
played league ever.
The resources back to town. We've also managed to collect some more gold too. We can now upgrade the town and build new structures. There's plenty of options. We just need to decide where to start. I think we'll start with the tavern, the beating heart of Kingsmarch. It can be upgraded instantly to improve the recruiter's prospects. And you can find various important NPCs relaxing here. Next, we'll upgrade our mining station.
Mining
You can
speed.
upgrade this to improve the efficiency of your miners and allocate our newly hired workers to mining. You will eventually need a smelter, where you can send your ore to turn into more valuable bars. Then we have the disenchanter, where you can bring
What?
your magic, rare, or unique items to be added to a queue to be disenchanted over time.
For
Items
dust.
will be broken down into thaumaturgic dust, a new resource used for crafting and shipping. We'll
I'm
get
playing
more into
modded
that later.
Minecraft now.
And of course, a town needs food. You could invest in farming, where you can select crops to grow and harvest. But don't worry, you won't be manually watering anything.
They learned that from Harvest League.
With all these resources piling up, there will be excess that we can spend. Let's talk about rewards in Settlers of Kalguur. Eventually you can build a harbour and establish shipping routes between a number of different Kalguuran and Karui ports for trade. You'll be able to pile your acquired resources onto these ships and send them to a port of your choosing, where your traders will haggle for the best deals. Each port will return specific rewards based on what you send them. They accept all types of resources, but will have a preferred type that they'll currently pay more for.
Okay. Gotta watch
You'll
that.
want to get onto this, because eventually you could be bringing in shipments like this,
Holy moly.
this,
Meh. It's got some good stuff. Okay.
or even this.
Come on. Tab it. Scarab farming.
Today, we're going to trade with Kalguur.
This is going to be the farm league
You'll
of
notice that
farm
as we get
leagues.
more resources, this risk meter creeps up. Much like the dangers on the shores of Rayclast, there are dangers out at sea. Monsters, pirates, environmental hazards.
That
You'll want to try
5
keep
minutes
your
or 5
shipments-
hours?
You can do this by hiring workers that specialize in shipping. The more of them you add to the ship, the less risk there will be. Like this gentleman, who's famous for fending off even the most dangerous of pirates. Now let's get that shipment going.
Get
And
Johnny
continue
boy.
exploring Ray class while we wait for its return. This is the first Path of Exile
Mm-hmm.
League that experiments with true real-time mechanics.
What?
You can send out shipments, go and have lunch, and come back to your rewards. The mechanics in the league work this way, so you'll always have some ongoing project or outcome to look forward to. When your shipment has returned, or met its demise, you'll get notified, and at your leisure you can return to the town to collect your rewards. Our shipment returned safely, so let's go see what we got. Ooh, they've sent us a unique item alongside our rewards, perhaps hoping to secure us as a loyal customer for the future. Aside from shipping, the Kalguurans are
What
big on their
the-
technology. They have hired Isla, a familiar face from the Heist League. She is an engineer who the Kalguurans have employed for a very exciting purpose. You're not the only one who understands how profitable running maps can be. Once at endgame, Isla can help you build a series of Kalguuran modified map devices. You can then put a queue of maps into them. If you've hired a few skilled Atlas runners, they will put themselves to work running those maps for you one after another. Look, more delegation. Once again,
Auto
you'll be
map
notified
runners.
when the rewards are ready to be collected. You can put lots of maps in the queue, so don't feel obliged to go back there all the
How
time.
about T17s?
Be careful. though. The difficulty of the map impacts the risk of your workers perishing. Try to pick your best workers, or perhaps just ones you don't like. Consider the difficulty too. Sometimes it's better to just run it yourself. You'll see there are many benefits to
Max
having
that
a
out, you can run T16s and just
Let's talk
farm
about
them
crafting services.
passively.
You should definitely consider building a runesmithing table. This is operated by Danig himself, using powerful Kalguuran blacksmithing arts. He can engrave runic magic onto your weapons using runes.
Does
There are many
what?
rune types and combinations to choose from, and you can unlock new crafts that can be applied to your weapons as enchantments. Our design intention here is to take powerful effects you would usually only find on unique
Fire
items.
cold lighting. So
Like
yeah.
this modifier, which you might recognize from Doomfletcher's prison. Danig can apply it to your two-hand maces. There are over 100 different special crafting outcomes, ranging from ones very easily applied to very difficult. The rune types can be acquired through trade with Kalguur, or defeating powerful bosses. The Kalguuran tech benefits don't end there. We're also bringing back a formerly overpowered crowd favorite, Recombination. Isla is trying to master this. She just needs you to help her with getting resources.
48 grand and
The
a
system
1,000
isn't as
dust.
strong as it used to be, but it still allows you to combine two items together, hoping to get the best modifiers of each onto a single item.
That's so going to be used a lot.
A town, shipping, and exploring, you'll be collecting a lot
Wait,
of extra gold.
that's
It is now
the
the primary resource
box.
for two huge new quality of life features that we are putting to test.
where you hand in the.
Firstly, you can use gold to respec passive points. This is a feature from Path of Exile 2 that we've decided just makes sense to port back. The higher level you are, the more expensive it gets. And the next one is absolutely massive. A currency trade market. The Kalguurans have recruited Faustus, another NPC from the Heist League. He allows you to asynchronously buy and sell currency and most other stackable items with other players without the nuisance of price fixes and people who never respond. All you need to do is select what currency you want, say what you have, and your ideal ratio. It works kinda like a real-life stock market.
Oh,
Faustus will
bulk
make the trade
exchange
happen
that's
so long
simple as
as there is someone
hell.
selling on the other end for the same rate or less.
That means the
You'll be able
shipping's
to go back
gonna
to blasting
give you
your
heaps
while
of
trusty
stuff.
Faustus does the dirty work, notifying you when your currency is ready for collection. All you need to do is pay him a small amount of gold for his time.
How small?
cards on the table, this is an experiment to see if this type of asynchronous trading has a place in future Path of Exile releases. We're very excited to see how it goes.
If it works that simple, yes it does.
Given that Faustus is an expert in black market trade and shady deals, he also provides another service.
Gambling.
Offering items for gold.
Influenced.
The items will generate with random rarity, and on average the modifiers on them are better.
I reckon that coloured thing's
This can be
influenced.
a very nice way to get some targeted items during the campaign. For serious crafters, it can be a great starting point for making those elusive, specific in-game items, which perhaps you could take to the runesmith afterwards.
Go back to those different colours.
It's worth
I reckon they're
you can invite
Crusader and stuff.
where he will always be available for respecking, currency exchange, and black market items. As your town grows, it will attract more attention, good and bad. Settlers of Kalguur features 3 endgame bosses that will close in on your operations, wanting a piece of the pie. They might capture and ransom your workers, even your entire ships. You'll have to make some tough decisions. Will you take them on, or pay them off? One example of a boss is Sasan, the Bandit Lord. You won't stumble across this boss by accident. Instead, this unsavory character can come into your town at night and take your Atlas runners hostage, holding them for ransom. What happens next is up to you. Perhaps you'll refuse to negotiate with bandits, leading to a fight
Yes,
with the
tank
Sasan
is.
and rescue your workers. If you're not up for the heroics, you might simply pay the ransom in gold. Or perhaps these workers were especially disappointed, and you'll just leave them for dead in true raid class fashion. They knew what they were signing up for, right? Of course, the heroics might be worth it for other reasons. These bosses can drop new unique items.
Block ward. Oh, they're bringing ward into more
Settlers of
importance.
Kalguur is a very experimental league with new mechanics that will completely change how you play the core game. We've been sitting on a lot of these ideas for a while and can't wait to share them with you. But there's a lot more to this expansion. Let's talk about balance. Well, we've finally rebalanced the Gladiator. It's been a long time coming. Like before, there are passive skills that allow you to invest in bleeding and block.
I want to play bleed bow, so what do you
New
got?
skills replacing some of the old ones. Like this, War of Attrition, which is very handy for long sustained boss fights. Further alongside the Gladiator theme, this new passive allows you to combine different weapon types while dual wielding to get a variety of powerful bonuses. For example, holding a dagger will give you more critical strike chance, while holding a mace gives you more area of effect. Of course, you could just use Varanastra for all weapon type bonuses. And finally, we have a new notable which allows you to invest in the newly added retaliation skills. These are active skills which require you to meet a certain condition in order to use them. Once
Like
you meet that condition, you can unleash devastation on your foes. Here we have Eviscerate, which requires you to have a shield.
Insignia, whatever.
Or for those who like to dual wield, Sword Storm, which is great for obliterating bosses. Here we have the Divine Retribution skill. This one has the condition requiring you to block. You can then unleash a devastating spell, causing lightning bolts to strike the ground in an X shape around your target location, doing huge amounts of damage.
Nice.
And of course, in true Path of Exile fashion, there are many avenues to invest in these mechanics further on the passive tree and a new support gem. You are able to increase the leeway duration after meeting the condition, reduce the cooldowns, or just increase their damage. The world's your oyster.
Fortified damage and recovery, pretty
Gladiator
much.
wasn't the only ascendancy class we've changed. As we develop Path of Exile systems, we often find ourselves reusing mechanics, increasing their depth, and allowing more avenues to invest into them. As such, the Raider Ascendancy class found itself lacking, with many of its passives commonly available elsewhere. We want our Ascendancy classes to always feel like they're pushing the boundaries, allowing you to change your character in ways that are meaningful and ideally unique. As a result, we've straight up removed the Raider, rest in peace, and we've added a new class in its place, the Warden. This class is largely inspired by its predecessor from the Affliction League, with a few changes. The Warden now focuses on elemental attacks, changing the behavior of Shock, enhancing Freeze, and replacing Ignite with Scorch. There's also a skill that allows you to go ballistic with your elemental damage, periodically. The class also grants Bark Skin, which is a skill that can be used to mitigate physical damage
It's like
from
Iron
hits.
Skin.
After taking a number of hits, it increases your evasion, making it a great defensive choice. Finally, the last thing the Warden can specialize in is tinctures. These are an alternative to flasks from the Affliction League. We're bringing them back with adjusted mechanics. Tinctures can be placed in your belt, replacing flasks. You can inherently only have one tincture active at a time, and it requires a melee weapon to use. While activated, they grant a powerful buff. They can drop as magic items, or be modified with currency to grant extra bonuses. Here is a prismatic tincture. This one increases elemental damage by 100% while active. You'll notice it has two extra effects. One is that it applies mana burn every second. Mana burn is a debuff that builds up while tinctures are active that causes you to lose mana, losing more mana for each stack. Tinctures also have a cooldown, so once you have disabled one, no other tincture can be enabled for a time. These changes make tincture use a more active and interesting choice than it was in Affliction. Both mana burn and the cooldown can be modified through modifiers on the tinctures or on the passive skill tree. Players will want to maximize their tincture uptime for sure. Here we have a couple other tinctures. The Poisonberry tincture is excellent for poison builds. The Rosethorn tincture is the choice for those wanting to deal critical strikes. You might be wondering, with the removal of the Raider, where has the Frenzy Charge investment gone? We've added a Frenzy Charge passive skill to the Deadeye, replacing the Rupture passive skill. On top of Ascendancy classes, we have revisited a number of core mechanics. This time taking pains to ensure easy access through the passive tree, skill gems, and simple items. We don't want all the powerful mechanics to be hidden behind layers of complexity.
Good.
Let's just rapid fire through the key points. If you want more detail later, you can read the patch notes, which will be dropped after the live stream.
Okay.
Be sure to let us know what you think. There's a lot of changes, so be prepared for a bit of a shock to the system. I expect it will take several days for the dust to settle on this one. Given we're doing a Kalguuran League, Ward has also received a bit of attention. There are new uniques that grant Ward, and the base restoration of Ward is now faster. To compensate, Olroth's Resolve has been nerfed, but Ward loop builds will still be possible. Anyway, that was most of the purely defensive changes. Now let's look at some of the offensive and utility-based ones. There are more and better ways to deal with mana as an attacker on the southern hemisphere of the passive tree. Now, it's time to look at a hot topic, Magic Find. Because of Kalguur expansion, we are going to be removing item quantity bonuses from all character items. This will not affect existing items in standard leagues. Magic Find is intended to be another axis on your gear you can scale once you have achieved the power you want. With item quantity being only available on unique items, this meant if you wanted to get the most out of it, you had to be playing a very specific build. We still want people to be able to invest into Magic Find, but now only through item rarity. This can be obtained on a number of rare item slots, and by a much larger number of builds. What about Vendor's Gamble, you might ask?
Yes.
Here it is now. This is one of the biggest balance
Quantity
we've
gone.
ever done. I can't promise that existing builds will all be safe. Even we aren't able to predict all the outcomes here, nor have we even gone into every single change. One such encounter is the Nameless Seer, lurking in Tier 16 and 17 maps.
Well, that's,
This NPC will give you a selection of unique items, and you can pick one for free. In Tier 16 maps, he now has an additional feature, where you can scry a map.
What?
This allows you to swap the divination card drops of the current map with another map on your atlas. Just one caveat. You cannot have the same map be in multiple swaps at the same time. If you want to
Oh, it's
undo your
permanent.
choice, you can use a scouring orb on either map on your atlas. We've also made some updates to a couple of leagues.
Oh,
Blight has been updated with some atlas passive skill changes,
that's because they added stuff to it.
and double anointed amulets can now drop in Blight Ravaged maps. We've also introduced a new type of oil that can only drop from Blighted and Blight Ravaged maps.
Come on, show it.
Ritual has also been updated. You can now find one new and many reworked base types, new unique items,
Nameless rings.
corpses you can use to raise as specters, and occasionally a fragment, granting access to the King in the Mist's boss fight from the Affliction League. He will drop a number of unique items that were familiar from the League, but not that which was taken, as it is now that which was taken away. However, he now drops a different modular jewel that you might recognize from the Necropolis League. In
Global
Tier
crit.
16 and Tier 17 maps, you can now encounter the Wildwood, also from the Affliction League.
G17's with this.
The Wildwood is a mysterious force fraught with danger. In the darkness, you will find magical wisps yearning for freedom. Upon releasing them, they will empower
Imagine all the
monsters
crit.
on your map, promising more danger but more rewards. You may also find random sentinels on the ground near the start of your maps from the Sentinel League. They work in a similar way to before. They aren't items, but you can click on them and then they can be activated in that area at any time of your choosing.
To what end?
Upon activation, they
Like-
will buff monsters around you, increasing their difficulty and rewards. And here's one for those who like to live dangerously.
What?
You may occasionally find a reflective mist from the Kalandra League. It has two outcomes.
Oh.
It could drop a jewelry item with randomly enhanced or inverted modifier values, or it can give a
Can you?
reflecting mist item, which can be used on an existing piece of jewelry to perform the same action at a time of your choosing. Good luck! There's many other small changes to League content. In other news, we've added a set of new chisel types, which can be applied to your maps to get different bonuses. While the Cartographer's Chisel still increases item quantity, there are new ones that now increase rarity, pack size, increased chance for currency items, divination cards, and scarabs.
Oh
It's also
my
worth mentioning that chisels
goodness.
now apply 20% quality per chisel to white maps, 10% to yellow maps, and 5% to red maps and higher. Unique maps still require the full 20 chisels. Also, only one type of chisel can be applied to a map at a time.
Oh.
During 3.24, we made a change to Tier 17 maps that allowed them to be rerolled with Chaos Orbs.
You can Val and
We're
chisel
now
'em.
expanding the currency types that can be used on. We've been hard at work improving the Path of Exile experience on consoles.
Alright, play console.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post Path of Exile Settlers of Kalguur's full patch notes.
That's gonna be
At
huge.
least at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Settlers of Kalguur's release. Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kerax Vault Pass. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments.
You're welcome.
We're looking forward to building our towns alongside you, trying new builds, slaying monsters, and exploring new in-game strategies next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.